takeandtalkpics.com. I'm Rob Kruger. This is episode 81 with our Fundamental Fridays. Just so you know, Photo World, I'll be holding the recording device the whole time. I got the windscreen on there. That'll hopefully help with the noise as opposed to the last couple I did. So I'll hold that, and if I'm fumbling around with it a little bit, then no big deal. I'll keep moving and try to get through it. This week, I want to talk to you about metering, like real metering. What do we do? How do we follow along? I mean, you have a meter in your camera. There's options to purchase an additional light meter, which if you're going to be professional or start your business in this, make the investment and get a real light meter. One that can be an incident meter, one that can be a spot meter, maybe also have that flash sync, so that way it can take the flash metering. You can set up along the lines. That's a long-term investment to have, and it's really helpful to have it, other than just the meter in your camera. Today, I'm only going to talk to you about the meter in your camera, though, because they're all a little bit different, but for the most part, your camera's aiming for one thing. Remember this? It's our gray card. Your camera wants this. That's what those markers are. It's +2, -2. The middle is middle gray, 18% gray, 128 RGB. For our digital world, you know, it's just the middle gray. That's what it wants. We can do this anywhere. The camera wants this, and maybe you don't have one. Maybe you're not wearing neutral tones that kind of line up in that middle gray. But we can do this anywhere, and we don't even need this. So let me set this down. So, no gray card, no problem. What do we do? How do we get in the position of knowing what to do for our meter if we don't have that perfect guideline to go off of? Well, you have two more guidelines that exist in every single situation. One at least does. You may have both, but one exists in every single situation. This is going to be for ambient light, following what's available. If you're going to do flash, you can get close, but you have to understand your flashes. So today I'm going to go over the ambient light metering, any situation, anytime, and you're going to be able to master this, choosing 1, the highlights, or 2, the shadows, and going from there. Today I have a pretty nice day. It's overcast a little bit in and out. We got the sun popping through. We got the clouds going by. They're huge, white, big, fluffy clouds. It's awesome. So, I mean, it's definitely sunny right now, but the clouds might move through and close it off. What we have are perfect areas of white with texture. That right there is the detail. You have to have texture in mind. If you want pure black, that's fine. Underexposed, and you got pure black. If you want pure bright, overexposed and get pure white. You can blow out anything you want. But that's not perfect exposure. Maybe we don't need perfect, but if you want to get close, let's dial it in. Here we go. See, the light's going away now. We're getting that overcast feel. But it doesn't matter. If we can meter in a situation, we can shoot in that situation. And here I go. I'm going to wait for it to open up because I think we'll have more sun than shade today. But I'm going to start to meter on the clouds. All right, I'm going to meter on the clouds exactly as the camera wants me to, right in the middle. So here I go, taking care of that. All right, and I'm getting a nice solid reading here. So the clouds on this side, which is actually the dark side of the clouds, to get that perfectly gray that we want, or at least what the camera wants, it's putting me at 1/2000th of a second because I'm pointing up at white at bright, and f5.6, and then ISO 100. Nice solid full stop increments that we can go off of here. But what I'd like to do is say, you know what? I don't agree with that. That is not pure blowout white, and I don't want it to be perfect middle gray either. Because if I do, let me take a shot just at 70 millimeters here and get what I get with this scenery. Yep, and you can see we have a nice looking sky. That's great. You can see the darker side of the clouds. They might be a little too dark for what we're actually looking at. But definitely the scene underneath here, the trees and the water, it's dark. Not substantially dark, just a couple stops. So let's figure it out. What we want to do is go back to our spot to meter, and we have to find the brightest highlight, the whitest white with texture that we still want. So I'm going to carefully aim on these clouds because there's darker textures, there's lighter textures. So I'm going to go to the highest, brightest white I can get, and I'm going to go 2 stops brighter than the meter will tell me. So let me focus in here, zoom in a little bit. There we go. And get that meter reading right where it needs it. Perfect. Now I'm going to go 2 stops brighter. Just following that along, 2 stops brighter than what my meter is saying. On the brightest white with texture. And here I'm going to go try to do that same shot I did before. Get those trees, get a little bit of the water, get some sky. And what do we have? Oh my gosh, who'd have thunk it? You still have a good sky. It's not a huge difference up there because it's just bright all around. We have a little bit brighter clouds than we had before, but now I can see the water. We can see the trees, get that green really exposed pretty well. And the difference between that dark shade side area and the sky are a huge difference. And the sun is off in that direction, but I'm still getting a pretty good exposure, saying that is the shade side, and that makes sense. For what I'm seeing, it matches exactly what I'm seeing because it's metered correctly. I'm going to do the complete opposite for you and show you the dark side metering. So I'm going to meter at the darkest texture that I can find, or darkest textured shadow area that I don't want pitch black. And I'm going to zoom in as much as I can, and I'm going across the water over there, and I'm going to get just a piece of that shade, a dark area of that shade that I can still see some leaves, and go ahead and meter up. Here we go for that middle ugly gray that the camera wants us to get. That's dark. No, that's darker. You got to scan a little bit and take a look around. There it is. That's my dark area. That's what I want with texture, and my camera is telling me, hey dude, you better bump up your ISO for this long lens. That's what it's saying. So let me change up my settings. I'm just going to go to an equivalent exposure from where I was at. All right, so with that horrible exposure for that middle gray, we got it. We're at 200th of a second, f4, and then an ISO of 800. Wow, that is a dark area to really need that much. And let me take a look. It's going to be, my guess is too bright, right? Oh, super bright, because it's going for that middle gray. Yes, that dark area with texture is perfectly middle gray metering. I don't want that. I want the scene to look good. So now that I know my exposure, I can just cut off 2 stops of light. And you know what? I probably went for a little bit darker, so I'll go 2 and a little bit more. Let's take a look here. I'm going to do it through ISO, clean up my image. That's 1. There we go, down to 200. And then I'm just going to give it a little bit, a third of a stop on the aperture, and go again. Here we go. Let's take a look. Same shot, different day. Woo, nice. So much better. Oh my gosh. It's astounding. It's so much better. And, we have the clouds moving in and out. We're fighting that, but you can still follow your meter. Decide if it's a bright spot, white with texture, meter for the middle, and then go 2 stops too bright of what the meter will tell you. Look for a dark spot with texture again. Meter there, and go 2 stops darker than what the meter's telling you. It's not worth it to follow the meter because the camera's lying to you all the time. If you know those 2 steps, and not even knowing the whole reason why, for you film buffs out there, this is relating to the zone system, but not even having to know why, but 2 stops darker in shadow areas with texture, 2 stops brighter with light areas with texture, you are good to go. You can meter anywhere, anytime, with any ambient light situation. I'm Rob Kruger, Take and Talk Pics. Have a good one, happy shooting, and happy metering. Hey Photo World, TakeTalkBook.com. That's right, you can get a free audiobook today and a free month trial subscription for Audible.com. Just go to TakeTalkBook.com and get started today. Thank you, Photo World, for stopping by on another great episode here on TakeandTalkPics.com. Be sure to share Take and Talk Pics with your friends and photo family out there. Tweet about it with hashtag HeyPhotoWorld, and we'll follow along and see what great things you have to say. Happy shooting.